Welcome to the show.
Hello, all. Thanks for joining us.
Exactly. How you doing, brother?
I am good. I'm going to
Good
tell you
stuff.
something, Tony.
What's that?
It's not cold here.
I would hope not. Crap, it's the end of July.
It is not cold. I am not complaining, but it's not cold.
What's the temperature?
90s.
It is 90s. Wow.
90s.
Okay.
Humidity is way up there.
Okay.
And our buddy Tim is sending some smog our way. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, appreciate that, right? Well,
How
that's
are you?
that's our temperatures, 90s smog, no smog, 90s humidity. Ours are like 94, and then they give you the old, when you look on the app, feels like 107.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
It's friggin' hot. That's what it feels
Yeah.
like. It feels like it's hot.
Hot is hot, cold is cold.
90, like if I burn myself on a pan, oh, that pan was 95 degrees. Oh, it felt like 107. Jeez.
I know, right? Wasn't it Jimmy Buffett who said something like, it's not hot, it just ain't cold?
That's it. That's exactly right. The weather is here. I wish you were beautiful.
Absolutely. I got that t-shirt.
Do you really? That's
I
awesome.
do.
That's awesome. Do they have a margarita? We're not even near a topic. Do you have a Margaritaville up in your way? Anywhere?
Yes. Short story on that. We have one in the mall. It's called Destiny USA, which
Okay.
There's not a lot of stores left. There's been a lot of shootings. But
Jesus. All right.
Yeah. But back prior to COVID and years prior to that, there was a Toby Keith's restaurant there and whatnot. And Tony, I swear to God, and you can ask my kids, you can ask Deb, I would email and write Jimmy Buffett in Margaritaville. I'm like, you guys are missing the boat. And it wasn't long after. And you know what? I'll take the credit for it. I don't even care.
There you go.
They put a Margaritaville in, and it's still there. Knock on wood.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what town is that considered?
Syracuse.
It is here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of popped up all over after a little while. They were slow to start moving. They started popping over all over the place. So.
The Orlando one's beautiful.
The Orlando one, way back when I was a youngster and had dark hair, I used to bartend then at the Hard Rock Cafe in Universal, City Walk. So across from Universal Hard Rock is Margaritaville.
Yes.
And for the grand opening, he did a concert on the patio out there, free concert.
Did he really?
We all went upstairs. We went upstairs in the Hard Rock on our patio to watch the concert.
Oh,
but yeah, God. That one there is awesome. That was from what I understand, that was the first one outside of Key West.
Okay. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. It's a great, and the one in Destiny kind of rivals that.
Okay, cool.
Their gift shop has gone to the wayside. Oops, sorry, I dropped my glasses. Their gift shop is gone. But it's cool. They got the hanging airplane and the big blender.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love it. I just love it. I almost wore a Jimmy Buffett t-shirt tonight too, but
see that? Yeah. Reminisce. We knew we were talking about it somehow.
How do we go here?
I don't know. I every single time we start the show, I question how we do anything. I'm like, how do we get here from here? I don't even understand it. But
we're definitely.
I don't question anything anymore. But what I do want to question is Mr. Stallone one of these days.
Are you kidding me? Oh,
I mean, every rockhead. What would you say to Sly in 30 seconds? Of course, everybody has the thank you. You got me through this, and I'm not downplaying that by any means.
No.
I would be in line to say the same exact thing.
Sure,
but I would love to hear how many have questions for him that are a little different. I mean, let's face facts. So, not the usual so how was it making Rocky or something very basic? Something a little out of the box. And that's where we were thinking about when we were talking about doing the episode on how I would love to just ask the questions that we want asked. And maybe if we're lucky enough that he's watching,
Right.
which we hope he does, he does
Sure.
follow the Instagram, so hopefully he does watch the show.
Right.
And you never know. Maybe he'll message the answers or something. You never know.
Right. Hey, Sly, inquiring minds want to know.
They do. And these are just these questions Rick and I came up with, for the episode here. And obviously, we always try to invite everybody else to help out and join in the fun. So message questions you have, and we can carry them over to another episode.
Absolutely.
We might start doing that. Just keep a little slush fund of Sly questions, and
Sure.
you never know, we might get to use them one day.
And you never know what will trigger him.
No.
It could be anything, and it happened on the Files.
Yep.
Something triggered him, and
Yep.
the next thing you know, he did a beautiful presentation or a video for Mike and Stacy, and
Yep.
who knows? I mean,
you know what it is too. I think that I shouldn't even say I think. I have a feeling and know, not for a fact, but just based on my own experiences. The older he's getting, the more melancholy he's getting about his past.
I agree.
What type of mark he's leaving on society and on the general public. I think I don't want to downplay his appreciation for what Rocky gave to people, but I think every year he's older, he sees it more and more. Like in the episode of his show, he wanted to go to the steps. That's where it all started. I mean, you can see how much it means to him. He wanted to bring his family there.
Sure.
The girls are even saying, like, I knew there'd be some people, but my goodness, look at all these people here. And so I do think that stuff like that happens. And hey, let me answer these questions. Let me message this person. Let me do. And with the, what's the word I'm looking for? With the contact we have now,
right,
with almost anybody with social media and YouTube and everything else, anything's possible.
Sure.
You don't have to fly out to California and go to a studio and hope you run into it. So,
and you and I both know, as the older we get and the years creep up on us, and we look at our kids, and we're like, oh yeah, you remember them riding their battery powered little, whatever around the backyard, or so he's human. He's gonna think of that stuff.
Yeah.
So some of this stuff might trigger something in him to be like, and we're not Barbara Walters, but I think we got some pretty good questions.
I think so. I mean, it's I'm sure I could think of more than this, but we were kind of throwing them. Some of them I had previously to talking about the show, and then I added a couple more.
Sure.
But yeah, so the rest of this show is going to be all about asking Sly questions about
either that or the Riddler's going to show up.
You never know.
You never know.
Be Frank Gorshin or Jim Carrey. Which one?
Yeah. Or John Astin.
That's true. I always forget he played that. I always forget he did that.
Here we go again.
Yeah, exactly. We're just, that's what.
Well, let's get to these questions. I'm dying.
That's what makes the show fun for us, anyway, guys. I don't know if you guys are at home watching, going, "All right, get to the Rocky questions," but
I know. Yeah.
This is what happens. Anyway, so go ahead there, Mr. Ricky B. What do you got? What's the first question you got?
Oh, I get to go first. Okay,
sure.
Wow. I am going to have to put my glasses on. Please pardon that. So I'm going to go with question number 1 that I wrote down.
Okay.
When Sly, when you came across the Balboa Boulevard sign, okay, did it strike you right away as that this name was going to be the last name of Rocky Robert Balboa? Or was it something that as you were writing days later or throughout the writing progress that it came to you like, you know what? That's a perfect fit. I mean, we all know that the story of how the Balboa Boulevard, he saw that, but just kind of like more into it.
Right. Well, no, I agree. Because like any type of creativity, like you just said, do you see it and right away go, oh, I love that. That's awesome. I got to use that somewhere. Or was he driving around to try to clear his head to get a name for the character? And did he have to take the exit on Balboa Boulevard. And he was like, "Oh, I like that. That's Italian.
Right.
Let's go
My
with that."
point exactly. My point. Or
Yeah.
isn't there a Balboa Park in California as well?
There is. There's a Balboa Park. It's further south, closer towards San Diego.
Okay.
It's huge too. Art museums and everything down there.
My brother went there and he said it's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, it is. It's very pretty.
Never
Very
seen
pretty.
it, but I was very surprised. And then I did come across a Balboa dime, Spanish old dime, maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have it here somewhere, somewhere in all this. Yeah, it was a Balboa 10-cent piece from Spain or something like that. It was pretty cool though. I was like, wow, But that was my question.
As you know, a lot of the stuff down there is, is from, Spanish areas and stuff like that, and coming over from, obviously Mexico's right there, so it has a lot of that type of architecture. It has a lot of the type of, not Mediterranean, but Spanish architecture, for lack of a better word, or lack of a better term. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I have one picture. Because when we went on our California trip, Sophia and I, we did go to Balboa Park, to check it out. And this is the only picture I know. I have more pictures, so I apologize for not being prepared. But this is the one. We went at night. We weren't really planning on going, but we stopped there, and it's a little, as you can see, the architecture, the statues, pretty cool. Pretty cool
That's
stuff.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, and it was all lit up. It was the holiday time, so it was a little different looking. Let's see here. I think I can scrounge up some more, but it had a bunch of art museums. It had some restaurants there. It's a huge piece of property, very big piece of property.
But just think about how that resonates with the Rocky community in the whole spectrum. I know it's a small thing, but it's like Rocky Smith. I'm not making fun of Smith, but I'm just saying,
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, obviously, he wanted to stick with his Italian heritage. By doing the Italian Stallion, and we all know Stallone and Stallion, and we saw that. And Rocky, Rocky Marciano being a big part of the inspiration as well. But yeah, Balboa Park. There's Balboa Park. The sign there.
That's awesome.
And there's some more to it. There's another piece.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is very pretty. Wow. Very pretty. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Maybe he said, okay, I want to use Rocky, but what last name could I use? What can I? He's got to have a last name. He can't just be Rocky. I could picture that. I could picture him going, you know what? I got to get out of the house. I got to clear my head. I haven't come up with anything in hours.
Yeah.
Let me just get out and forget about everything for a while.
How cool is that,
and then drives by that. He's like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Inspiration comes from anywhere and everywhere.
Sure.
Right?
No, that's awesome.
Perfect. Well, let's hear your number one.
Well, I don't have a number one or number two. And mine are a little all over the board. They were just kind of like my mind spewed down on paper.
All right. What's at the top of your list?
Yeah. So the top of the list I wrote down, I wanted to know, and it's easy for us to sit here and pick apart at it because it's already done. But I wanted to know what part of Rocky is Sly and what part of Sly is Rocky.
Ooh.
So like when he was writing it, did he write certain things because that's what he would have done?
Mm-hmm.
And did some of Rocky kind of rub off on him as he was filming? I love that he does this. Or I think Rocky would do that and he continued to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Obviously they're very intertwined. They're almost one person.
Right.
But there's got to be parts of Sly that is literally Sly that was written in Rocky. There has to be. It just the way the writing process is. Trust me, I'm not even putting myself near his level of writing, but I did take screenwriting in college and whatever. And every screenplay I wrote about 6 or 7 of them. Every one of them have me in there, or my father or my sister, or things.
I was gonna say you're gonna draw from what you know, what you've
Yeah.
learned, what you've experienced, what has happened in your life to this point right now. So that's what you're gonna draw from. So when I remember seeing an interview with Sly or something where he said, um, oh, I'm drawing a blank on the character's name at the moment, but for Tulsa King, Dwayne, is it Dwayne?
Dwight Manfredi.
Dwight, Dwight
Yeah.
Manfredi. He said that Dwight Manfredi is like the closest to his personality. But you know what? We've seen the Instagram posts
Yeah.
and we see how goofy he can be.
Yeah.
You know
Oh, yeah.
what? And that is the attraction. I mean, as much as there's the Stallone, the Rambo, the Rocky, and all, the gun toting, the whole 9 yards. But
Yeah.
when you see the lovable side, that's what draws you in too.
Yeah, and that's what I could see being written into Rocky is that because what's Rocky? Rocky's a lovable
There you go.
lughead, that he couldn't hurt a fly, even though he's a boxer and he's tough
Right.
as nails. He wouldn't really hurt anybody. He's trying to help the little girl not become a grown-up degenerate. He's
Right.
got turtles, a dog. He just is that. And then I could see that's that Sly. That's what my idea of it is.
Yeah,
And
he's
then of
got a
course,
big heart.
yeah, oh, huge heart, huge heart.
Is it?
And then
Yeah.
I also picture like the great scene of him coming back from the ring after going down there the night before the fight and talking to Adrian about who am I kidding? I'm not even in this guy's league. I could see him thinking that and writing
Mhm.
it on paper when they were talking to him about buying a script.
Sure. There had to
And
be some margin of doubt,
there had to be.
There-
Who am I to ask for more than $250,000? I'm a bum. I'm nobody. I
Right.
just had to sell my dog so I could eat.
Right.
And I got the nerve to say no, I want more. But look, he did, and same thing with Rocky, talking to that with Adrian and saying that I all I want to do is go to distance, and I mean all he wanted to do was make that movie.
Absolutely correct.
So
Absolutely.
it's intertwined. It's pretty, in my opinion, it's intertwined. I know that there's definitely Sly and Rocky. I don't know how much of Rocky rubbed off on Sly because obviously he created him, but you get the gist of the question.
I think it's a great question. And I really, in my opinion, obviously we don't know the man personally, but we've seen a lot of him. And I think there's a lot mostly in the Rocky character.
Agreed.
I really feel that his heart and soul has been poured into that.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
his persona, I think you hit the nail on the head on that.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agreed. I would love to hear his take on it.
Absolutely.
So batter up there, Ricky B. What else you
Okay.
got?
All right. Let me see. I have something very similar to that. So maybe we okay. All right. I'll just go with this one. Is there is there any actor or actress that you wanted to do a project / movie with that you never had the chance to do with? I
That's
mean,
really good considering how many he's worked with.
the man's got a laundry list
Oh,
of movies, TV shows, whatever.
movies,
he's worked with-
directors,
yeah.
actresses, other I mean, God, he's worked with almost everybody.
I know, but is there some?
There
is
has
there
to be.
one?
There
Is
has
there?
to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be like, man, whoever it is, I don't know, Eastwood, I don't know, but it's like, I really, he's never done anything with Pacino, has he?
No.
And I know they're friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you see a Stallone, a Pacino, and a De Niro, and a Pesci?
Right? Oh man. They all go to Oklahoma.
Oh my God.
They show up on Tulsa King.
That would be riveting TV right there.
Oh, sure would. Well, you never know. I mean, and it might be somebody that's not even with us any longer, and he just never got the chance to, and now unfortunately that person's gone.
Right.
I read that story about him and Elvis.
Yes. I did
Elvis
read
Presley
that.
asked him to bring Rocky to Graceland and wanted to watch it with him. And he said he was too shy. He didn't want to go do it. He just sent the movie. And then
Right.
shortly after, Elvis died. And then the same thing happened, from what I understand, with Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, I didn't hear this one.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, it might be somebody that's no longer with us. It might be Charlie Chaplin for all we know, that he
Right.
wishes he would have done some work with. But like you said, my goodness, he's got a Wikipedia's worth of
Oh, yeah.
co-stars and
Yeah.
men and women and directors, and geez,
Yeah.
shorter list is who he didn't work with is right.
Yeah, right. I'm just curious and what that project may be. I mean, is there a role? Because I know Manfredi was one that he always wanted to play,
Yeah, he always
in
wanted that gangster role, that mafia
right.
role.
But is there a role? I mean, he's played the comedy roles, he's played
Yeah,
the action hero, he's played, some romantic leads, Avenging
yeah,
Angelo, which is
yeah. Drama's
right
top of
here in
the
my
list.
heart. I love Avenging Angelo.
Yeah.
But is there a movie genre that he has not done? I don't even know if there is, but is
No,
there
because like you
something?
said, he hit it all. He's done comic book, he's done action, he's done like you said, romantic, he done comedies, I mean, he's done it all. So that'd be a
Yeah.
great question. Great question. So I hope you're writing these down.
I do have them down. Sly, give me a call, I mean,
Shoot us an email,
yeah,
comment down below.
hey, call Tony and I. We'll sit down. We'll meet down to Hulks and we'll have a
Yeah, I
beer.
told him 4 hours. 4 hours I could be there. I'll leave
Dude,
work
I,
right in the
I
middle
would
of it.
fly. I'd take JetBlue or whatever. Hit the gas. We're going.
Well, a couple other questions I have are pretty not as deep as the first ones we've had. The one I always thought about, because I know every person we've chatted with that's Rocky fan and Stallone fan all has their playlists for going to the
Yes,
gym. And I
absolutely.
know he has a lot of the classic rock, and you see him sometimes listening to stuff that we grew up with.
Yep.
We're all, we're not as in the same. He's 20 years older than us, but still in that same genre.
Right.
I would love to know what his favorite Rocky soundtrack song is, out of, like, not just, of course, the Rocky soundtrack, but Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4. Does he have one favorite that can get him pumped up?
Okay.
Does he have, because I mean, when I put on, every one of these albums is all over my playlist, practically the
Right.
entire album, except for the slower songs that aren't applicable to working out in the gym.
Right.
But when Going the Distance comes on, that gets kicked in a whole other gear. That's
Oh
just
yeah.
like, I got a whole other level. And then Gonna Fly Now, I have another. So I'd love to
Yeah.
know, is there a song that still clicks with him? Like, oh, this gets me going. Gets him moving.
Yeah. Other than, gonna fly now. Boom. Hearts on Fire. Hearts on Fire comes on. I run right to the speed bag. I gotta. I gotta. I'm like, okay, I can see it.
I mean, it's got to be one, especially with him being so closely connected to it, that seeing, obviously he put it, him and Bill Conti, I mean, I'm sure discussed, we want to have it here. I want, Conti's vision of gladiators almost coming into the ring. And
Right.
I would love to know which one could still get him pumped up. So that's a
Right.
little bit of a basic question, but I would still
Well,
like to know.
can I take that a step further? This isn't a question I had on my list, but it was a question I was thinking about last night. So I'm going to draw from your question and just
Okay.
we're going to expand on that. Maybe in two parts. So everybody has a guilty pleasure when it comes to music, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I have a 98 Jeep Wrangler, tops down. Today I'm out, looking around at stuff. And, you're, you got the AC/DC pumping or whatever's going on, Jimmy Buffett, whatever, right? And then an ABBA song comes on. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I like ABBA. I don't care. I love 70s
That's
music.
awesome.
I love 70s music. I love 70s, everything 70s.
Oh, I get it. I get
It was
it.
a great genre. It was a great era.
Yeah.
Whether it was the Eagles or it could have been England Dan and John Ford Collier, Seals and Crow, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Is
awesome.
there a guilty pleasure that he listens to that he would not readily admit? Like ABBA.
like Wham.
Yeah, Wham. Yeah, you know, they had a
Wake
couple
me
good
up
songs.
before you go.
Yeah, right. You know, we all have the guilty pleasures,
Oh, that's funny.
you know, and I just always, you know, you always want to look cool, suave, debonair, whatever it is, you know,
Yeah.
you're tooling down the road. But when the song comes, the Carpenters.
Yeah.
Who doesn't sing at the top of their lungs with the Carpenters? You know what
That's
I'm saying,
awesome.
Tony?
I would love to know. I think it's a great question.
You know,
Piggybacking off of that, I think it's a great question.
other than opera, because we know he likes the opera.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just think it's kind of, you know, I was thinking
That's
about that
great.
last night. I'm like, I wonder, does he have you know,
I'm sure he does. We all do, like
Karen,
you said.
Karen
We all
Carpenter
do.
on the playlist
Yeah,
somewhere?
we all do. Oh, so what else you got there?
Okay, here we go again.
Give
Guys,
me the
don't get
iPhone.
old. It sucks.
I took my contacts out so I wouldn't have to use my readers. So I would have been in the same boat.
I got my contacts in. I still got to use these damn things. Okay, this is a question that I was talking to Deb about, and this one kind of struck close to me.
Okay.
Just because of you, and you'll find in a second. If lightning didn't strike for Sly, like 99.9% of the world's population, if he did not get to make and sell Rocky and get to do what he's doing now, acting, directing, whatever it could be with the arts, is there a blue collar job that he would gravitate towards that would maybe grab his interest?
That's a really good question. Because you could see, I mean, being the way he is, you could see him doing any blue collar job.
Right.
But like you said, but what would gain his interest? You know, what would be something he wouldn't mind doing? Yeah, I don't. Jeez.
I mean, just because I'm a carpenter, a plumber, an electrician, and I enjoy doing that stuff, you know, and I'll be the first. I'll be the first to say it. Growing up, I always wanted to be in the. I always wanted to be acting, and that's how I took theater in college, you know, and I tried, and life goes different ways, but you know, I do enjoy doing what I'm doing, but I'm just wondering, you know, is he a guy who would want to work with his hands? You know, I don't. For some reason, it just kind of gravitated with me a little bit. You know, to see where he would go. You know, would he want to be? I don't think he'd be in an office.
I mean, where would he have gone if it all didn't work out? I mean, you could see that. I mean, it's not something that's that crazy of a question because it doesn't work out like you just said for 99% of the people.
Right.
I mean, come on, let's face facts. How many people pitch scripts and try out for parts and write screenplays and do all this stuff and go nowhere.
Right.
And then after so many years, you know, you're like, all right, look, man, I gotta figure something. I gotta start putting food on the table.
Absolutely.
So,
you know,
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I could see him doing any of it. I could see him in the construction world. I could see him in the mechanics world. You know, a la Lockup, building on a 66.
Right. Yeah, you know, that'd be pretty cool.
I could see him doing a lot of the blue collar jobs.
Yeah, I just was wondering which way he would kind of
see. These are the kind of questions that
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree. I would love to see what his answer would be because these are the kind of questions I think he would appreciate as well because they're not all just you know, like I said, the basic Rocky questions. I mean, I hate when I see an interview with him and he sits down and it's happening. Well, it's not happening. It happened when he was doing Creed 2 and he was getting nominated or got nominated. I'm sorry, for the Golden Globe and whatnot.
Right.
And all these younger interviewers are all, you know, so is it true that you sold your dog? Is it true that they offered you $300,000 and you said no? It's like, come on, man. That happened in 1976. Dig up some better questions. What made you want to go back to playing this character in 2000 and 16,
Right.
you know,
Right.
40 years after, or 50 years after, whatever it is. So but they don't. They just ask the basic questions. These are the kind of questions I think
Yeah.
a lot of Rockhead Nation would love to hear the
And
answers to.
we've seen a lot of those, I know that you're on the gram, I'm on the gram, and you see those interviews, short clips, and you're absolutely right, Tony. It's the same damn question.
Well, it's like, you follow sports and so do I. It's like, it
Yeah.
always drives me completely insane when the journalist or interviewer, whatever you want to call them, runs on the field. You guys won the World Series, you won the Super Bowl, you scored. How does it feel?
Yeah.
What do you mean, how does it feel?
Yeah.
It feels crappy. It feels like it does when I have gas after a bad taco.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to feel like? Can you ask a better question than that? I mean, that's
I
about as
know.
basic as you could get.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Very
yeah.
good. Very good. I
But
like that.
anyway, so I have another one. This one is Rocky related, and there's a little twist on it. Okay, so we've all seen Rocky 2, obviously.
Yes.
Everybody that's watching and here, and we all know in the end of Rocky 2, Adrian is in the house with Paulie, cheering on Rocky, watching the TV.
Yes.
Now, I would say 99.99% of the Rockhead Nation has seen this picture.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so obviously there was an alternate ending filmed with two very strong people who could lift two full-grown adults on their shoulders.
Oh yeah.
That's not the question, but I would love to know that, Sly. Like, how did that happen? Like, how did you pick up Talia Shire and they picked you up? That's
Yeah. Look at the guy there in the gray T-shirt with the red and white stripe.
Yeah.
Damn, is that like Lou Ferrigno?
But that wasn't my question. My question was, and here's another shot of it. My question was, if this scene was filmed, why did he stick to the scene where she was in the house? Now, I understand the obvious and probably easiest answer is you're not going to leave a newborn baby with drunken Uncle Paulie.
Yeah.
Which I definitely understand. I get that part.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But
you filmed the alternate ending. I mean, so you could have got a babysitter. You could have got, something. I don't know. I mean, if they filmed it, why didn't they use it? Is really, I guess, what I'm getting at.
right.
What about it didn't you like that you like the other one better, that she was at the TV?
Okay. Now
So,
I had heard or read or whatever, or seen or watched or whatever at one point in time that because of contractual obligations, Talia Shire couldn't be there for the final filming of the Rocky 2. But contradictory to that, like you just pointed out,
that scene.
There is that.
There is this right here.
So again, Sly, inquiring minds want to know.
It's just out of complete curiosity. I mean, obviously, we love the way Rocky 2 was. She was at the TV and whatever. But I would love to, like, how was it? What else was in that scene?
Right.
Was it like Rocky, where she was kind of off in the shadows, or was she in the front row, or was she? I would think she'd be sitting down at that point. She's already been married to him, and not like it was when they first met.
Right.
I don't know. I would love to know.
Well, that's kind of like, to take a little bit further with that. Today, John Rivoli put a post on of a Rocky IV deleted scene that I had never ever seen before.
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, I know.
Did you see that?
I commented on it. I said,
"Yes, you did."
It's so funny on how we'll see all these pictures and we see all this stuff going on, and you think you've seen everything, and then you see something else get posted, and you're like, when did that happen?
Right.
I had no idea it even existed, and Rick's talking about. John posted a picture of Bridget Nielsen's character handing the young lady that played Apollo's wife the American flag at Apollo's funeral.
Right.
I didn't even know that was. I had no idea. I had no idea.
Which then,
no idea whatsoever.
Which in turn, I commented like, how many more of this stuff, how much more of this stuff is out there that we've never seen, you know?
Yep.
And a lot of people have seen it. If they were to put all this stuff on a DVD or a DVD series, deleted scenes or whatever, my God, this stuff would fly off the shelves.
We've talked about this so many times, and it's so true. And how, I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of stupid legalities behind it where it can't happen or whatever the case may be. But God, how would that would, I mean, every DVD that gets released now has these deleted scenes and alternate endings and script stuff. And it's just,
Right.
man, I tell you, I just would love to have, I would love to have seen it. And I'm surprised. I wonder where and why he didn't do anything with that with the Rocky IV director's cut.
Yeah. Yeah. Did it slide on by him? Was it not part of it? Was that just a picture taken, you know? So, but then again, I guess there's so much material out there that I actually, for the director's cut, my personal opinion is I would have loved to have seen the original and the director's cut kind of combined rather than taking pieces out, you know. And here we go again. I'm going way off topic, but
What do you mean by the original Rocky IV? Is that what you're saying?
yes, the original Rocky IV. Like, let's just take for example the scene where the limo where Paulie says, "Come on, the meter's running, Rocco," you know, and
Right.
they show Rocky and
Right.
Adrian for the first time ever on the inside having the conversation, which we've never
Right.
seen
Right.
after all these years. But it
And you
could,
heard Paulie in the background. Yeah.
right, in my mind, and I love both. Same, okay. I'm not knocking it or nothing, but in my mind, I'm thinking, geez, I think it could have been really cool if they did both of those scenes, you know, went from Rocky and Adrian talking and flashed on to Paulie saying, "Come on," you
Right.
know, and you bring in both,
Right.
you know.
Right.
I wanted to see a longer movie.
Here's
There
the
you go.
scene that here's the scene that Rick's talking about right here. And like I said, I had no clue. No clue
Right.
this even existed. I never ever saw this picture.
Never.
John is lucky enough to call Sly his friend and his colleague. They work together on a lot of the Stallone shop stuff. So he might be, you know, for all we know, these are pictures taken behind the scenes, and he's, you know, giving them a John a post, which, you know, thank you for that. However you're getting
Right.
them, thank you for that. I had no, I, it's amazing after all these years, 30, 40, 50 years,
That this stuff
you
is
see
coming out.
you see pictures you never saw.
Right. Love
That's
it.
amazing. That's amazing.
Love it. You know, I'll say it. He put something on there. I'm like, keep the Rocky stuff coming. Can't
Oh
get
yeah.
enough. The
No.
man liked my comment. Yeah.
Yep.
But
There you go.
it's true.
There you go.
Tony, you're the same. You can't get enough,
No.
you know?
No. I don't even know whose turn it was next. It's your
We
turn. You go.
can flip a quarter, a Balboa
You're
dime.
good. You can go. I
Okay.
think it was mine. Yeah, no, it was mine. I was asking about the Adrian ending. That's right.
Okay, and then I took off in another direction. We gotta get a flag man.
We always do. Yeah.
Flag man or flag woman.
We should just hit a timer.
Yeah.
A big countdown timer. When it reaches 0, we have to go back on topic.
I know. Send in your applications now. Okay. Anybody who knows me knows this is a burning question that I've had on my brain for many years. Okay. I like whiskey and I like bourbon. I do. Okay. Other than coffee, those are my drinks of choice. We'll get a little water in there now and then with Deb's prodding. But and I you know, limit, I get it. Please put the picture up.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
There it is.
I have been asking this question for years. I
There it
just want to know, is this something I can get?
It's like we were just discussing it before we started recording. And if you look in the background there, you see there's already bottles that are filled. There's the cork lids in that box. And then
Yes.
these three are getting filled up at the distillery there. I mean, you can go with this a bunch of different ways. I would assume that this has been that I remember seeing that years ago.
Right.
I would assume that if he wanted to release this, it would have been released by now, that regardless of whatever issue he had getting it released, would have
Right.
been, I mean, a man of his stature and money, he would have worked out whatever he had to work out to release this
Sure.
product. I have to assume that he had it bought. I mean, I have a friend of mine who makes his own wine.
Okay.
And every year for Christmas, everybody gets a bottle of his wine. He has a nice label on it, puts
Okay.
his name on there, and blah blah blah. I have to assume that's what it is. That he had it bottled up for his friends and family for Christmas, or just because, or I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it being done and not being sold after this much time. If it was not for personal use.
And there's so many celebrities out there now putting out their own labels.
So many.
Dwayne Johnson is one.
So many.
With his tequila and others.
There's so many. I mean, George Clooney had the tequila. Ryan Reynolds had the gin.
Right.
Like you said, Dwayne Johnson has the tequila. I mean, everybody, they all got their own brand of alcohol now.
Right.
I mean, it makes a lot of money. You put your name on that product, it's making a lot of money. So
right.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't know. I don't think it was something that was for retail use. I don't know.
Well, if it wasn't, could you put me on your Christmas list?
Me too, please.
I just want one bottle.
Yeah. Oh, I just want one. Yeah. Two. One for him, one for Rick, one for me.
One for me, one for Tony. 2 bottles, please.
Oh my God.
I'm asking a lot. I think, you know what? I don't even know if I'd ever cracked the bottle to begin with, maybe a taste, but I just think it's something that's so cool. Just something
Absolutely.
as a collector or memento, a memorabilia to add to the Rocky Room. I just think it's something that's so cool, and it seems like it's so unobtainable. I've been asking this for years.
And the thing of it is, I've typed, because like I said, we've seen this for years, and I typed in, Stallone bourbon, Stallone whiskey, and tried to see like what's out there on Google. What can I pick apart? And the only thing that comes up is Bulleit bourbon.
Right.
From when he drank that in
Bullet to the Head.
But thank you. Bullet to the Head. Which is a good bourbon, by the way. But
yes, it is very good.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll have to ask him. That's
I'll put it, if you put us on our Christmas list, we won't tell anybody.
Yeah, you get a package in the mail. Here's your answer. Done. Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Well, see, I don't have my next question is not nearly as good as that. That's the next one I have is what's that?
I said, you got great questions.
Oh, not as good as the whiskey, though. The whiskey, that's a good question. I like that question a lot. Okay, so this one here is a little bit of a different question. I know the answer to this. I just wanted to hear his opinion on it. So considering how prevalent and how good the CGI de-aging is now on people. I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff out there too, don't get me wrong, but it's become very good. Would he ever consider bridging the gap between Rocky V and Balboa?
Oh,
now
love it.
Part of the answer I know is I don't think he would ever want to have Adrian die on screen.
True.
So I definitely know that later part of Rocky V to Balboa, I don't think would happen. But kind of like 5 to beginning Balboa or something. I don't know. Just like I said, I would just love to hear his input on it. Would it something that did he even write it? For all we know, he has it written in a notebook in his closet and just never did anything with it.
Right. He very well could. And boy, that would fill in a very big hole in the series.
God. 1990 to 2006.
Sure. There's a lot of questions that we all have in that time frame that has taken place. We know it
Sure. I
was the
mean, you have,
woman
look at
cancer.
how estranged Robert is. Robert
Right. Right. No, you froze up on me, buddy. Unless it's me.
say, bitter about being Rocky's son. How did that happen? Why did that happen? Um, like I said, the biggest thing I think is I of course think, because I don't know, but knowing how he writes, I just know he would not want to have Adrian die on screen.
Right.
And I also don't think the fans would want that.
No.
I think it was an easier pill to swallow in Balboa when you just saw she was gone, and you saw the aftermath.
But I remember in that scene there when they flashed to the stone. We saw that in the theaters.
Yeah.
I was devastated. I don't know why. I mean, I was like, what?
Again, but back to his writing, it makes sense. He had to be like it was with Rocky.
Right.
Where he had his son, but he kind of really didn't have his son. His son was kind of trying off on doing his own thing. And so his son is, let's just say his son is 25 in Balboa.
Sure. Okay.
Give or take.
Yeah.
So you got, and in Rocky 5, what is a 15-year gap on what happened? How come he became the way he did? Why is he so bitter about it? What did he do between obviously not fighting anymore in 5 after that to 6 and opening the restaurant? But again, with Adrian being gone, that's a tougher pill to swallow. So I don't know. Just an interesting conversation. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. And, I would love to see him do a redo Rocky 5 with some of those.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody would.
Yeah. I mean, I still like the movie. But again, I think there's more that could be brought to the table with that.
Yeah.
And that could definitely go into bridging the gap between 5 and Balboa as well.
Mm-hmm.
Start to maybe at least put some questions that could be answered. Maybe you show that she's starting to get sick, or
right.
Because wasn't there a premise of that Adrian was pregnant with a little girl that he always wanted?
I never heard that.
Yeah. And the alternate, or the alternate ending, where Rocky dies, and they said no, Rocky never will die.
Right.
But I had heard that that Adrian was pregnant with a little girl.
Oh, I never heard that before. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
See that?
So there's another one for you to confirm.
You think you know everything about a movie, a movie
saga. We don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of information. Who knows if it's true or not? I don't know. But
well, like you said, we have to ask him.
Yeah. That's why we're asking the questions.
Exactly. All right. So why don't you wrap up this episode with the final question of this one? We're doing this show in 2 parts. Because we do have so many questions and we kind of ramble, as you may have noticed. And so it's not as easy as 10 questions. Let's knock it out and we're good.
Right.
So we'll do a second part of this one here, but this we'll wrap up with your last question.
Okay. We all know the connection that you have with Steve Reeves, Edgar Allan Poe, and Charlie Chaplin. Okay. That's well known with coming from you or coming from Sly. Is there anybody else that maybe we don't know of that you've kind of kept a lid on, that you draw inspiration from on a day-to-day basis, that you might look to, that helps keep you moving forward, keep you going? Someone who may or may not be alive, but you're like, you know what? So-and-so would be doing this. Right. I need to be doing this too, or whatever.
See, that's very close to one of my questions, so we could just intertwine it.
Okay.
I was going to ask him, aside from family, what three people, alive or dead, would he want to have a dinner with?
That's a great question. That's
2 to 3 hour dinner, 3 people, dead or alive, converse, talk, shop, talk personal life, whatever. Poe, Reeves, obviously would be 2. I would think anyway, would be 2 of the 3.
Sure.
So who's number 3?
Well, Tony, if it was you or I, we're gonna have to flip a coin, or
yeah,
we'll have to sit in the same chair, buddy.
Might have to go the Rocky 3 route and say age before beauty.
There you go. There you go. Or we could tell one of those two to go away.
But you're right. I mean, we know the Steve Reeves, connection.
Yes.
That's why he did the beard in Rocky 4. That's the lifting of and when he was in the barn and he's lifting up, everybody's sitting on the
wagon.
The wagon. Thank you. And of course, we all know he wrote his Edgar Allan Poe script 40 years ago, 30, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So those are pretty, I would think, givens, that they would be there. But yeah, who else gives him motivation? Who else makes him go?
But that's a great question too. Who would be the third person, assuming that those were the 2? Who would be the third person he'd want at the table with him? That's a great question.
But again, like you're saying, who keeps him moving forward? Who makes him not give up? That's I love that. That's fantastic.
Well, we look to Sly, I look to Sly. My alarm clock went off this morning, and there's Mick saying, "Get up, you son of a bitch," because Mickey loves you. That's how my day starts out. Right. So it starts with Sly. It usually ends with Sly or Rocky. Who would that third person be? And with the topic of Poe, just kind of curious. We've seen him in the Philadelphia Eagles jersey.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen him in a Cleveland Browns jacket.
I have too. I saw that picture. Yeah.
Okay. Off the cuff, and I know we're going a little bit left of the lane here. Does he have a soft spot for the Baltimore Ravens? You know what they were named after?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just kind of curious,
Yeah. He might.
Just wondering.
He might. He might as well.
Well,
we have too many questions for one episode, so
yes,
we're gonna wrap this one up. But we do have a part 2, and we do have more questions, and hopefully you guys can give us more questions. Maybe we'll have a part 3. Who knows?
Yeah, please send your questions. We'll ask them on our show.
Oh, I would love it. I would love it. And like I said, he might. Oh God, if he answered one question, I'd be happy.
Oh my, yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Cool.
We'd have like our New Year's Eve hats on and the little.
No, I'm celebrate.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Well, we'll continue on with part 2 next week.
You got it.
This was a good one. I really like this one. This is a great idea.
I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was,
Yeah. Well, there's more to come.
Absolutely.
So send in your questions.
Don't forget. Please do.
All right. We'll see everybody next week.